So could she have hidden her drinking, her drug use from her family? That's tonight's big question. Howard Samuels, Executive Director of the Wonderland Drug Treatment Center, with us. CNN legal analyst Lisa Bloom and Dr. Jorge Rodriguez, who's board certified in internal medicine, joining us as well. Dr. Rodriguez, let me ask you, possible at all with this family's claiming? I mean, they've been through a laundry list here: diabetes, a mystery bump in the leg, a problem with her tooth, a stroke. I mean, is any of this, could any of this have possibly driven this in some way?
Well, let me tell you, from what I've seen from the autopsy reports, I don't think that's possible. You can't ignore the evidence of the fact that there was 2.5 legal limits of alcohol in this woman's blood. But more compelling, there was approximately 6 grams of alcohol in her stomach, which meant that she must have consumed alcohol at least within half an hour to 1 hour of the accident. And otherwise, there was no sign of stroke on autopsy in the brain. There was no hemorrhaging in the brain, and diabetes, even if you have low blood sugar, you probably wouldn't have gone for 2 miles driving on the wrong side of the road. So the evidence that I've seen, Campbell, does not coincide with anything other than alcohol use.
Not to mention what was in her blood or what was in her stomach, Howard, as Dr. Rodriguez just said, but also a bottle of vodka found at the crash site. Is it possible that this woman was an alcoholic and her family was in denial, or she could have kept it from them?
I mean, Campbell, this is such a classic case of denial of alcoholism being played out on the national stage. Not only was the woman obviously in denial that she had an issue, but the family, just shocking that they would come out and be in denial of this woman having any kind of issue. It is not normal that a woman out on a Sunday outing with her children would drink or smoke marijuana. That is a problem.
Terrifying problem. Lisa, this accident killed 8 people, and to Howard's point, there's some talk of a civil suit. This family could theoretically be on the hook, I guess, for a lot of money. Is that why we're hearing some of the things come from them, which sound like excuses, obviously?
Well, I'm sure that there will be a wrongful death case against her estate. I don't know how much money is in the estate, and now that the family has an attorney, they're trying to come up with alternate theories for the crash. Look, they're going to have to argue that the toxicology is just completely wrong, that the police planted that information, there's massive lab error, and that's extremely unlikely, especially given that there will never be a criminal trial here because the mom who was driving is deceased. So it doesn't make any sense that the police would have misbehaved in any way. What does make sense is there's an empty bottle of vodka in the car, there's vodka in her stomach, there's high levels of blood alcohol in her and THC from the marijuana. She ingested the alcohol, she ingested the marijuana, and the family either didn't know, didn't want to know, or they're fabricating at this point.
And Howard, just to follow up on your other point, you hear the family say she was a good mother, she'd never put her children in danger. Do addicts realize, I guess, the risks that they're taking?
Campbell, I work with a lot of mothers who are alcoholics, and they drive their children drunk. And they're good mothers, but when you drink, you're not a good mother, and you become insane, and you do horrible things. And I have a lot of mothers in my practice today that are sober, but live with that shame and guilt of what they did under the influence of alcohol.
Guys, we got to end it there, but many thanks. Dr. Rodriguez, Howard Samuels, and Lisa Bloom, as always, thank you.
You're welcome.